everybody to the Make New Friends season 2 inaugural pod. Not I don't know what I'm saying already. Welcome is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, this is basically like the preseason 2 dry run of like what to expect when you're expecting season 2.
It's going to be a lot of shocking facts that you didn't know before you were expecting.
Yep, great. So let's talk about friendship, right? That's like what we do. You can tell we're a little bit rusty. We haven't
it's fine.
In, like ages.
Or maybe instead of talking about friendship, we should give updates first.
Okay. Do you want to start?
So people can know why we haven't. Well, sure. As we all know, we ended season 1 a couple months back. It was Christmas time, after Christmas. And Cece and I had worked tirelessly throughout the second half of 2017. I don't know what year it is, 2017, to make new friends. And so once we finished season 1, we decided to take a little break, which was really good for me because I, at that point, was still unemployed. And I needed focus in my life and also money. And good things happen to those who know people in other industry. So I got a job. Yay. So that's been my like major accomplishment, I suppose. And so I got a job at it's a PR firm in Washington, D.C. And we do communications and PR, and I'm on the digital team. So I don't do like a lot of the direct PRing and communicating. I do the kind of like underwork to make sure that goes smoothly and gets to all the people online that it needs to get to. And so I spend my days writing ad copy and social calendars, so Twitter and Facebook primarily, and making graphics for different nonprofits, mostly in a variety of different fields. But that's what I'm doing. My days are very long, and so it's very hard. It's a hard job, hard thing.
How's the adjustment been for you?
What you mean, like
adjusting to the new job?
It was really hard. The first couple weeks. It's gotten much better now. Thank you for asking.
But
yeah, it was a mixture of the projects I was working on and just trying to adjust to that kind of environment. Like I've never had kind of a full-time salary paid job before. A lot of the stuff that I've done in my life has been freelance or, creative project based that I wasn't making money on, or it was in museums. And so this is none of those things, although I pull different skill sets from all 3 of those different like worlds that I've lived in or worked in. But my biggest challenge, and it still is I am no longer like my own boss. Like I can't just decide things and do them. I have to like run it by 40 different people, which is just too much for me. Yeah. Also, I mean, this will be like on the public record, I guess, but I don't think I will talk about this more publicly, like sooner rather than later, but I don't think I'm a very client-based person. I just can't work for clients. I'm just too independent for it. And I think I work best when I don't have to listen to other people.
Yeah. I get
Which I knew before, but like I think this is a good experience to really solidify that, and that I'm kind of I'm definitely more of a leader, and in that leadership position you don't have as many people you have to run ideas by and or go through in order to get something approved. That's been my biggest challenge. So yeah, that's my major update. What about you?
Well, first of all, I just want to say congrats on the new job. I'm very proud of you. It seems like it's a lot of new stuff, but I think you're doing really well at it, and I'm just proud of you, proud of my friend Mary. So for me, I have definitely been on a bit of like a walkabout, like just figuring out what I want to do, like, I have a podcast with producer Pappy that,
Producer Pappy!
yeah, he's sitting down here. Put your hand up. Wait.
There he is.
There he is. He is heard but not seen. That's how I like to keep my producers heard and not seen. So we have a podcast called Ambitions, which started out as sort of a way to hold us accountable for our New Year's resolutions and goals. And because we are so ambitious, it's also kind of turned into a space where we can have these dialogues where we're talking about the projects we have, the things we want to accomplish, maybe why we're frustrated by certain aspects of that, and the roadblocks that we encounter. So it's been really good for that. It's also been a space for me to address some of like my mental health stuff with anxiety, and talk about seeing a therapist for self-confidence. So that's been a part of my journey, if you will. And apart from that, I've been pursuing a career as a chocolatier. I say career, but it doesn't necessarily feel like that yet. But I'm definitely making some big decisions and taking some actual steps in making it into a business. So that's exciting.
This place called Dean and DeLuca in DC. It's in New York too, and I think it's in other places. But I was in there, I think, a couple weekends ago, and I saw their chocolate, and I was like, Cece could do way better than that. And I was I'm being honest. Like it looked almost just like the stuff that you were putting on Instagram, and I'm like, hello, like her calling.
Yeah. So I feel really passionate about doing chocolate, which it feels kind of like out of the blue as well, because it just started as like a creative way to give gifts over the holidays by like, making chocolate. But I just really fell into it, and I love it, and it's so good. So I'm working on getting that up and running. And apart from that, just been hanging with the cats. I've got some snails, and they just had babies. So I'm now a mother of like 30.
You never thought you'd be here.
I never thought. Like, I went from one day having 2 snails to the next day literally having like over 30. So it was a big adjustment, to say the least.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Yeah, that's what's been going on in my neck of the woods.
I have a question about the chocolate. Do you focus more on, I know, obviously, because I live in the United States, I've never tasted your chocolate, but do you focus more on the flavors or on the decorative side? Or is it like a balance of both that you're trying to kind of flesh out?
I want it to be a balance of both, but at the moment it's definitely more of the decorative side. And I'm really enjoying the creative process of like seeing what sort of designs I can do, and also just getting the process down has taken a lot of time. But I do feel like I'm at a point where like I've got a handle on it, and I'm excited to be able to sell chocolate. Yeah.
I've only ever seen one episode of The British Apprentice, which people in Britain love. I don't know why. But the one episode I have seen was the episode where they have to like create chocolate candy carts and sell their wares in Brighton. So if you want to do some research,
watch that episode.
Great episode to follow up on. So yeah. I have some cat updates as well. I have 2 cats. Well, I have 1 cat now, but 2 cats live in the house. Technically, I own both, but my roommate, the other cat is hers, but I paid for them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So before I reveal them, they're behind me. I'll also post on Twitter so you can get a better picture of what they look like, of like literally right now where they are on the bed. My Twitter is at Mary Aikman, spelled how it looks on the channel. But their names are Toru and Pepper. Toru is my cat, and he's all black, and he's very fluffy. And Pepper is the gray pepper colored one. So they're right here. I don't know. I'm gonna like see them. I have to talk so you can see them. Oh my god, they're adorable. I love them. So yeah, Toru and then Pepper. Pepper, I kind of named them both, sort of, because I was just kind of throwing around names for Pepper. We were trying, my roommate really wanted to name him a like food related thing. And so I just said like Pepper, I threw that out there and she was like, oh my gosh, yeah, that works. And so that's his name. His nickname is Peps, or Pepita, which means pumpkin seed in Spanish.
I love that.
Yeah. And Toru, his nickname is Rue, but I don't really ever call him Rue. My roommate does. I sometimes will call him like Toru-chan.
Oh my god.
I'm pretty sure Chan is like a female end and he's a male cat. They're both male cats, but it's fine. But he's named after, I really wanted to like, I didn't really have a set name for him. I wanted, like, I thought about Alexander, like Alexander Hamilton for a while.
Gosh.
Yeah, I know. But that, I didn't think that really worked for him. And then I started looking up, like, I wanted to see what I couldn't remember the black cat's name in Sailor Moon. And so I, like, looked it up on Google, and I saw under that the voice actors from the original Sailor Moon in Japanese, one of the actors' names was Toru. And I said Toru. And then I was like, oh my god, that's it. That's my cat. He's precious and wonderful. So that's my cat update.
Well, thank you for the cat update. You know, I love a good kitty cat update.
I'm posting photos right now of them.
Oh my gosh. Speaking of cats, while we're on it, I've got my cats on the bed too.
Oh, fancy that.
Dolores, and that's Ichabod. Ichabod is huge. Also, you could probably see me right in the mirror. But yeah, aren't they so cute? I want to meet Toru and I want to meet Pepper. I thought Pepper was a girl. Pepper seems like quite a feminine name. So I'm delighted to hear that they're brothers.
Yes, they're brothers. And honestly, I'm not even sure. Like, the girl I got them from, she had gotten them from another, I think, another family. And along the way, I think whether or not they're actually brothers is lost. Because in cat litters, like, you can have two cats that look dramatically different. So they could be, or they could have just been like bonded where they were both in the same household at different times. Like, I definitely think Pepper he's smaller and he's definitely more along the age that the previous owner said he was, which is about 8 months. Toru is a lot, like, he's more like formed, like he seems like an older cat, but not like too much older. His meow is very petite and it's like not fully formed, so that makes me think maybe he is younger. I don't know. We haven't taken them to the vet yet, which is scheduled for the end of this month, so we'll get there. But hopefully the vet will be able to kind of narrow it down a little more, because the person I got them from, like, I'm glad we adopted them. Like, I don't think they're mistreating them or anything, but I think they're in a better environment than they were, which is like good on the owner, because she kind of realized, and that was part of her, like, when she was posting about them, she's like, I just cannot, I can't take care of them to their fullest extent, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So I think they're in a better place.
Aww.
Yeah. Well, so I can't wait till
Turner look very settled and very happy with you.
Yeah. We're like trying to get up Pepper's weight because he's very skinny. And I think Toro is just a fat ass and eats all of his food.
Honestly, that's kind of what happens with our cats, Dolores and Ichabod, because Ichabod is massive. He's just like a big boy, like he's got very big bones, and you can really see it in like his face in particular. Like his eyes are very big, his nose is very, very wide. But he's also a hungry boy, so he likes to eat a lot of food, and also non-food items like hair clips. And I have to keep them in a drawer because he'll jump up on my desk and he'll snatch one of these, and we'll know, and we'll go to stop him, and he'll just run away with it because he knows it's a tasty plastic treat.
That's cute.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cat behaviors are strange. Like, they definitely don't act the same. Pepper's a lot more skittish. And he needs constantly, I have to shove him off of me, like, at every minute. Like, I never hang out with him, like, because I'm like, you're just gonna literally need for hours.
Oh my gosh.
As hell, because he doesn't do it like next to you. He literally gets on you. And his nails are full out. Like, it's not.
Wow, he goes for it. He really goes.
He goes all in.
Dolo does not really do that. Like, maybe a few weeks ago, she actually needed me for like the first time. And like, it wasn't just like how normally she'll just do like one paw and then another, and then she'll like lay down or whatever.
Yeah.
But this time she was like, yes, this is nice. And I was like, I shouldn't move. I don't want to ruin this moment. So,
yeah, Toru does the more like 1-2 lay down sort of thing. But Toru is like, I call him my prince. I call Turner my prince too, but Toru is like a majestic fucking creature.
Is he like dramatic?
No, he's just beautiful.
A moment of silence for all the cats out there.
I can't wait until Turner. That was my moment. Can't wait until Turner and Toru meet.
Oh, I hope they get along. Like, eventually, you know.
Yeah, I think they would. Like, Turner definitely will be like dominant. He is older, and he's just more of a dominant cat, I think. Toru's a little bit shy. But he's still less shy than Pepper is. Pepper's a bitch.
Oh, speaking of shyness, should we talk about like making friends?
Solid transition.
One of my classic transitions.
Yeah, of course.
So, season 1 happened. Do you feel like you learned anything from a whole season about friendship?
I definitely think that in my day-to-day life, I think more about the like implications of what I'm doing. Like I'll either think about how this relates to the podcast, or I'll think about moments in the podcast that kind of reflect something I'm going through similarly. It's kind of hard because I don't tend to listen. Like, I'll listen back to our podcast maybe once. But it's hard to, for me at least, my like learning style is a little bit like I would need to listen to it more than once and like write down notes and stuff on it. Like, I think I can definitely remember more about the episodes that I wrote notes for originally. So it's just that, so physically saying, oh, like I learned A, B, and C is kind of hard for me to say, but I definitely think I think more about friendships in my day-to-day life than I normally would have before.
Yeah, that's really cool. I feel like during season 1, you and I learned a lot about each other's friendship styles. And I feel like by the end of it, I could see that you were taking on board a lot of stuff that maybe you hadn't seen originally. Like how, you know, I'm quite anxious, and, you know, sometimes I'll put off talking to someone, or, you know, I'll get in my head about something. And I feel like through us, like, having these discussions and seeing the other side of things, like we each grew to appreciate where the other person was coming from. And so maybe we got a little better at communicating, even just like between the two of us, which is pretty cool.
Yes, definitely agreed. And I can think of like an instance where I had a little bit of a disagreement with someone that I have known for a while from YouTube, and the disagreement was on Twitter, and then we kind of followed up about it in DMs.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely acted a little bit more mature than I would probably in the past. Not mature enough, I don't think. I think I still kind of acted, I think we both acted immature about it, and we both kind of felt like, no, I'm right, you're wrong about it. But I have a little bit more of a bird's eye view about the situation than I would have before. And I didn't let it go on. Like, once I realized, like, I'm not getting past what I want to say, and like, I'm hearing her, but I disagree. I just said, like, I'm just going to stop this right now and not go any further, because this person and I had some difficulty in the past couple months anyway. And then this was sort of something that came up very quickly. And it seems like things have gone back to normal, but I haven't seen them in person. It's someone who I usually actually see quite a bit throughout the year at different things. So I think it should be fine. Like, I'm not totally worried, but I definitely think our friendship wasn't where it has been in the past. And I don't know. We'll see what happens.
I think that's good though. Yeah. That definitely shows some growth in terms of you being able to, I guess, take the high road. I kind of don't like that expression though, because it puts.
Yeah, I don't think I took the high road. Like, I don't think either of us did really.
Well, maybe instead of taking the high road, you were able to just, like, let bygones be bygones.
Yeah, let the water under the bridge.
Yeah. Just let it go rather than be like, no, let's have this debate for 7 years.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
I think I have, just launching off of that, I think I have learned that as well since doing season 1. I think it's, well, that, and also like, I've been going to therapy for confidence and all that stuff. And so I've been kind of reviewing some past experiences with a different mindset, which has been quite helpful. But it also makes me wonder, like, if we did season 1 now, how would I approach many of those same topics? I've always found myself to be quite a petty person, and I know that sounds terrible to admit, but I just gotta say it. Like, I have petty moments and I hold grudges. I'm a Libra, so like, take that as you wish. But I think now I am more able to let go of those grudges and just, hey, everyone goes through different things, and I'm not perfect, you're not perfect. And, maybe we weren't meant to be friends, and it's okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Life is a journey. Every decision you make takes you down a new path and opens a door and stuff,
Thank you, Sage Mooney.
You're welcome.
You'd be a great fortune teller. That's all I'm saying.
I so would. Speaking of fortune telling, in middle school, I used, this was around the time that That's So Raven was like, on the Disney Channel, came home every day after school and was watching that. I was convinced that, I could see the future. I could predict stuff. So maybe there's some truth to it. Who knows?
Yeah, I think everyone has a little bit of like this was a premonition that I had a week ago sort of things like that you think. I honestly, sometimes when I'm in that weird space between like my snooze has gone off once or twice, but I've fallen back to sleep, sometimes I'll like think of things or like situations, and then I feel like they happen that next day or 2 days later, or like when I wake up, like I look at my phone and I'm like, oh my God, like, how did I know? Yeah, but honestly, I think it's just I wake up in the middle of the night and look at my phone, and then I go back to sleep and I don't remember. But then I wake up the next day and I'm like, oh my God, Resha sent
with me,
I don't know, it did something.
A lot of my like premonitions have to do with interpersonal stuff. Like I had, and also kind of not directly connected to me. I'm usually in the dream, but for instance, I had a dream about a YouTuber, a British YouTuber who had just recently gotten married. And in my dream, it was like 6 months after they had gotten married and they were getting divorced. And then literally that came true. So
Who is this?
I don't want to say. I don't want to say.
You can chat me privately.
I'll DM you and let you know.
Cool.
So yeah, just I feel really weird when I have dreams about like real people. I don't like to be that personal.
Yeah.
Back
on the subject of friendship. Have you made any new friends since we last chatted or our last live stream? Or have you like noticed more development in your friendship circle?
Yeah, I have. So my friend Simon, who's actually Pappy's friend from like school who lives where we live. Name. Yes, Simon.
Okay. I think I've been past his house. Does he have a great stained glass window?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. What did we do? Did we?
I think we like dropped someone off or picked someone up at one point.
Maybe it was like a birthday party and we were dropping people off. I don't know. Anyway. So Simon and I have been hanging out. Like he got a gym membership at the same gym that we go to. So for a while, like we'd go to the gym together and whatnot. And I do feel like I've been making a better effort at like reaching out to people and not taking it so personally if like people can't hang out, you know? Whereas like, I don't know, in the past I used to be kind of like, oh, I can never make friends and like I'm the problem, blah, blah, blah. But it's not personal. So I've kind of like seen the light, if you will. And also I have a friend named Erin and she lives in London and she's come down to hang out with me a few times, which has been really good. She's one of those like internet friends where it's like, you know, like you hang out sometimes, like you and I, like you hang out sometimes, but mostly the contact is through the internet.
Yeah.
So it's good to replenish the internet friend group from time to time. And apart from that, something that I've been doing more actively is trying to like get out of my comfort zone on social media and like actually respond to people and like try and just say something like on Instagram, for instance. If I like a photo, I will usually try and leave a comment, even if it's just like, oh, love this is great, or nice colors, or oh, that looks tasty. And it seems like so basic, but I do feel better about it. And I think that if I were on the receiving end of those, I would be like, oh, that's so nice that they left a comment.
Yeah. I think as early internet people who have made friends through the internet for a long time, like I think I made my first friend on the internet in 2006, like over 10 years, over 20 years. Wait, no.
Oh, 2026?
I was like, ooh, it's been that long. I was like, no, honey, you're only 26. Chill out. Anyway, for over 10 years, we forget like the basic principles of interacting with people online when you don't know them. And those principles are really just respond to things, send tweets, send comments, like things, and over time someone will notice and say, okay, this person has been commenting, for a while, and like sometimes I interact, sometimes I don't. Maybe I'm going to start, I'll look at their stuff and see what are they making, who are they, like any of that kind of thing. And then eventually like there's a mutual understanding or a mutual follow, and through time you just kind of consider them like someone in your like internet friend or like acquaintance bubble. Some of those friendships will go on and develop into actual like in real life sort of friendships. Maybe they'll just stay online. Like I have a ton of people that I've never met, but we have sort of kind of mutual following. And it's just like, I think we just forget that that's how you kind of build them. Like, you don't just become friends with someone. Like, sometimes you do, but it's usually because you met in person and then you realize they're also an internet person.
Yeah.
So
I think like starting up a conversation is like, I have a hard time doing that because I feel like, oh, they're not going to want to talk to me. But I'm I've also started like the leaving comment thing more as a thing for me to get more out of my interactions online, because for a while it just felt like, why am I even posting on Instagram? It's so lonely. And like, yeah, I'll like people's photos, but I'm not seeing like the engagement or whatever. And it just wasn't fun for me, you know? It's kind of like if I were still making videos, but I wasn't commenting on anyone else's. It'd be like, oh, I'm not interacting with anybody. I'm just kind of shouting into the void and hoping someone says, haha, nice vid. So
this sucks. Downvote.
Yeah.
1 star.
Oh my God. Remember the star days? Those are the days. Well, they were.
I actually don't remember them that vividly because I feel like they were phased out pretty soon after I started.
Yeah.
I think that was like stars were like early, like 2007, 2007. I'm having difficulty with the years.
27 AD, when the star system was outdated on YouTube.
So, but yeah. On my front, I think I've gone backwards in my friendships.
Oh no!
No, I don't know. I think it's just.
Well, okay, before you go any further, let me just say, from my perspective, the last time we spoke was in February, but you also were about to start a new job.
Yeah, and that's why I think I've gone backwards.
Like, I don't think you've gone backwards.
I don't think I've gone backwards, but my life has gotten more difficult in terms of making friends. So, and it's not like, it is sort of my fault, but it's also the environment of my job, right? So I was feeling great around February last time we talked, had I started the job yet or no?
You were about to. You'd like just gotten it.
Okay. So I hadn't started it. I was, before this, my current job, I was temping at my temp agency as the receptionist, and I loved it there. Like, the job was boring as hell, and I thought I was wasting away all of my skills and potential. But the people there were so cool. Like, I loved that everyone was super talkative. Like, we went out a couple times with a bunch of them. My like particular recruiter, who was like my main recruiter for different jobs, her name is also Mary, and she's just so cool. Like, she lent me her cat carriers when I got the cats, like a ton of different stuff. And I felt great. I was like, oh my God, I'm making friends. Like, I'm hanging out with them, but then I'm hanging out with their friends. I'm like, oh my God, my life. And then I started my new job, and my like communication with the people at the temp agency like pretty much dropped. One, because of how busy I was. Like, I didn't have free time to do anything. Most days I don't get home until 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Wow. And then if I want to get like a full night's sleep, I have to go to bed by like 11. Yeah. So it doesn't really leave me a lot of time to live. And then my new job, it's just not structured very well in terms of like interaction with other people. And everyone has so much work to do that even like 5 minutes of talking, you're losing like a certain amount of the GDP of the country. Like, whoa. It's just you just lose so much time if you're talking to people. And it doesn't seem like a culture where people like go out and hang out together. Like, some people are roommates, but other than that, like, everyone's sort of like new as well. Like, there's a huge turnover culture in that office. So a lot of people haven't been there for more than a year. And all the people who have are like upper management, and they're like in their like late 30s, late 40s. And so it's like, yeah, I don't really want to hang out with you. Cool. But I mean, you're cool, but sort of thing. Yeah. So I've just felt very like my life hasn't been great because the only people I hang out with are my roommates and Kaylee. and Kaylee's friend Elena, who I consider my friend as well, but I don't even see them a lot either. Like it's been like 20 days or something since I've seen them, and it's just I don't hang out with anybody.
Do you think that the work life balance will even out for you, or do you see it being always this sort of stressful state? Like, do you think it's a product of, you know, new job, finding that time and getting into a rhythm, or do you see it as like, nope, this is how it's going to be?
I haven't seen any development, so it makes me think maybe, yeah, this is just how it's gonna be. And it's made me think a lot about my longevity in DC.
Mm.
I mean, it's a mixture of like I'm not like by this time for how long I've been in like it's a different situation, but for how long I've been in DC, I had like tenfold friends in London by this
Mm.
time.
Yes.
And like it's I mean the whole YouTube world really helped that in London. But also and I was in school, so that was another like you're around classmates a large amount of the time. But I was meeting people like organically. It wasn't just like I was like the YouTube thing was because I met people that the only thing we had in common was YouTube. Like that wasn't like I don't know. I like I think the opportunities to meet people are about the same. But
Okay.
for some reason the people here are just not like I mean I don't like them as much or they're just not as like willing to talk and meet people, and a lot of them have been in the city for a while, so it's like they already have friendship groups. It's like they're not going to hang out with someone who's like they don't really know because they already have friends. They're not going to try and meet new ones, or that's what I'm thinking in my head.
Yeah.
I could be sabotaging myself,
Yeah. I think that
but
you know, you get what you give, and if you're giving out those vibes like, oh, no one's gonna want to make a new friend, then they might see it as like the same way with you, like, oh, she probably already has friends, or like, you know, she doesn't want new friends. But it's interesting though that you compare it to your time in London, because I see those two times and those sort of ecosystems as very different. I think that with YouTube and a lot of university stuff, like, yes, you have classes and you have videos to make and, you know, whatever, but you do have a lot of free time. And from the sounds of it, like, you don't have that free time. So you might see that maybe some of your coworkers don't have the free time either. And so
that's true.
it's that sort of like, you know, no one has free time, so that's why no one is like putting out the friend vibes.
Yeah.
And especially you mentioned that there was like a high turnover rate in your company or the industry maybe, and so maybe it's that sort of thing like, oh, I don't want to get too close because like what if you know, she just leaves in a month or whatever. So
That's true. I'm definitely not thinking about it like I'm not thinking about it like that. Someone else might be, and that's a good point. And who knows, maybe I will. No, but I maybe again I'm because I tend to do this. I was really going into London. I was very like I want to be here. Like I want to be here long term.
yeah.
And so I went out and made the effort of trying to find friends, and it was something that I purposely like said I'm going to do this. I usually that's like an outlier. I usually go into situations where I say I'm not going to be here that long. I'm not going to try to make as many friends.
Yeah.
Like I'll make friends, but I'm not going to try to like make lasting relationships that I'm going to be totally like depressed about once I leave, which is what happened after I left England. And I might be like subconsciously doing that now because I'm realizing that this job isn't 100% what I want to, and it's not what I want to be doing. And I don't like the amount of work I'm doing. I like the work on a certain level, but I've lived this life of, and it's not even a student life. Like I've had a job almost consistently since I was a sophomore in college. Like it's not like I've only been like studying and not doing anything. Like I didn't have a job when I was in London, but I was doing things that were a job. I was doing podcasts, I was doing YouTube, I was, doing Community Unite. Like I wasn't just like faffing around. So I'm just realizing that like what I value in my life, like I'm a workaholic. Like there's a reason I don't come home till a certain point.
Yeah.
And like I could be very strong-footed and say, I've been here 9 to 6 and those are my hours and I'm leaving now,
Yeah.
Like that's in my contract sort of thing. But I work till 7:30 most nights because I'm a workaholic.
Mary! Oh my God, girl.
But because it's like I just can't live a life where I know that I have more and more stuff to do, and like every day like 12 other things get added to my plate, and I'm just like, I can't just leave, I need to finish this. So and I just think I need a job where there's a little bit more of like an end every day. And I think in a museum, I feel like I need to go to a museum. I just this job has really made me think like I have to be at a museum. Like I was meant to be in a museum. I've always enjoyed my jobs at a museum. I know.
The whole conversation I've been like, when is she gonna realize that like this isn't where she meant to be?
And like I know that I'm not meant to. I think I loved campaign work, and I think I could still do campaign work, but I cannot be in a corporate office.
Corporate sucks. I don't think it's for either of us.
No.
Like, remember last year I got that job, and I realized pretty quickly that it was just not a good fit, and I left. And I think that sometimes you have to go through those sort of experiences that really test your not your morals, but like your passions and your raison d'etre, like why you're here, and
who you are, like really like down to the point, I suppose. But
it's so character building, and like that sounds shitty to say, but like it helps you figure out like what you want to be doing. And for me it was like, I don't want to be in an office doing graphic design for MRI machines. So like the pay is good, but
exactly like I keep telling people this is like, when I go back to museums, I will take a significant pay cut. Like a significant one, like not even just a couple $1,000s, like more than $10,000 sort of pay cut. And I'm just realizing that like that's what I'm gonna have to do if I want to be happy.
But that's okay, because like
I know, but that'll just make my life a little harder in other areas. But honestly, I've been handling that area way longer. Like I can handle that. Like I know how to navigate a financially ruinous life.
I love that term, a financially ruinous life. The Mary Akemon story.
No, I'm not that bad. Although, oh my God. So I've been trying. This is another tangent and probably too much information to everybody listening. But every year, like you have to not refinance, but sort of refinance like your student loans. Like they do like an audit of like how much money you're making and how much you should be paying back student loans if you're on like a specific payment plan. Well, I like did that because I went from like making pretty much no money to making a significant more amount of money. And I haven't turned in the paperwork yet. So I got my first student loan like bill. And it is like $800.
Oh, girl.
Yeah. So like the good thing is like I do the paperwork like on Monday and send it in. I don't know if that's going to change.
Yeah.
like the bill for this month, I can pay for it. And that's the good thing, is I can pay for it for this month, but I'm hoping that like once I have the paperwork in, it'll go down. It'll go down. Because like when I did the paperwork, it told me that the most I'd be paying is like $200 to $400 like a month, which is like I think a normal payment amount. That's not like
mine used to be $340 a month. But since I don't have a job and live in the UK, it is $0.
Mm-hmm. And that's what it's been the past like year for me, has been $0. So going from $0 to $800.
Yeah, that's going from $0 doll hairs to $800 doll hairs. Sure is a lot of doll hairs.
And like what makes me really sad is that if for some reason the payment doesn't go down, is I can pay for that amount every month, but that literally wipes out everything. You know, I won't have any discretionary money. Yeah. I will have maybe like $200 of discretionary money every month.
And will that go to food though, and like gas?
No, like everything is covered, and I'll have like $200 for like, you know, new fun things in my life, sort of.
New mascara.
Or like putting it aside for savings, or at like, you know, paying off like credit cards or something. Like it just sets me back in my mind of what I've been planning.
Yeah.
Significantly. So it's like
great. Wonderful. It goes down for you. I hate student loans. I hate repaying them back. Yes. Great. Should we talk about, what's going on in the chat? So Halen says, have you considered working in heritage sector, not specifically museums or private collections and archives?
I'm assuming this is towards me. Although, sure, Cece, you can answer it too. Is yes, of course. Like, most of my experience is in archives. And I like archives, but I like objects more than I like paper. It's just like a thing. But I think I screwed myself over with moving. Like, I've said this before to people, and I don't know if I said this last time, or I definitely shouldn't have moved to DC for this life. This field, I guess. Although, like, it makes logical sense, and I knew going in that it was going to be hard because of how competitive it is, but I didn't realize how hard it was going to be, and how like all the job application or interviews that I got my whole time while living in DC was because I knew someone else. Like, that was the only reason I got them. And and I'm sure that's how it is in other places, but that's more how it is in like places like DC and like New York. And like I'd have a much better chance to get a job at some museum in like Deerfield, Michigan. Like, but I don't want to live in Dearborn, not Deerfield, Dearborn, Michigan. I was
like, sure, that's a place in Michigan.
It might be. Sure. Honestly, probably is.
Yeah. I mean,
but
I think that you needed to get out of Florida, and you did.
Oh yeah.
So look at it that way. But tis just a step in your journey towards becoming the head of a museum archive foundation. That thing, Museum Archive Foundation, probably.
Yeah. I mean, there's different kinds. Like, the only good thing about the job that I'm in now is if for some reason this job is probably the only job that will get me back to back to London. Because it's corporate, and it's apparently finding good digital people is hard, which doesn't make sense to me, but it is, because my boss was like, we interviewed like 14 people before we found YouTube, which is like me and my like co-worker Alfredo. Like,
wow.
Like, what? Seriously?
How? Everyone is digital.
And I feel like I'm underqualified. So there's that, like.
Well.
And that doesn't make sense to me, but like, if there is a job, like PR is a little bit more of a like crossover, and like because it's corporate, they have money to sponsor visas.
Mm.
So if I really like, if I thought for some reason that my life was going to be tenfold more happier because I was in London, but in a job that I hated, I would go back. But I'm too much of a like ambitious person to like put sentiment before like logical, like, you know.
Yes, I completely understand. Well, so how
yeah,
long do you see yourself in this position? Like a year or less?
probably a year.
Yeah, get that big bucks, you know.
Yeah, just so I can like get it, if I can, you know, lower my student loans, is get ahead of my finances.
Mm-hmm.
And then once I'm ahead of my finances, start applying to jobs. And because I do think that what I'm doing is very good in terms of building my experience.
Oh, for sure.
I just don't
It's
like
a bit soul sucking.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. That's what corporate does to you. Not every office is going to be like the office. I mean,
yeah. And I love everyone in my office, and I think the office environment is fine. It's just the work that I'm doing, and then particular people who aren't like amazing, but they're still fine, you know? So anyway, enough about me.
Should we talk about something else? What
Is there any other questions? And let's see what people have been saying in the chat. Although like people who are there also can read them. So that's so Pappy says we're creative and we're not allowed to be trapped in an office. Thank you, Pappy. I can't tell if you responded because I was reading a different window. What else?
Yeah, Mary, I mean, not Mary. Pappy says, don't do more than they pay you for. And I freaking agree.
That's true. And I don't really know if I'm doing more than they're paying me for.
Well, it's like, do more time than they're paying you for.
Yeah, I'm definitely doing that.
That's a big no-no. And yeah, it's not good. That's my 2 cents.
If I got more like days off, I could be happier.
Well, you're taking a lot of vacations this year, though.
Yeah, but like it's been an added stress in my life trying to figure out like what to do and what not to do and what days to leave, and like I've had to pay way more than I want to on flights because
it's like weekends and stuff.
Right,
like
it's always like Friday night.
Yeah,
fly back Sunday night, like sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm thankful that I can afford to go places now. Definitely. A little bit more. But it's just
I have a good idea for what we could have you heard of those like questions to fall in love?
Are we gonna fall in love?
Yeah. Let's do some.
Let's do it. I've never done it. I want to do it.
My friend Simon, he's just started seeing a girl. So I was like, oh, you should ask these questions. So I've like read over some of them. So I've just Googled them. So just
okay. I'm gonna answer hail and place discussion. Hello. I don't know who you are. Do I know you? And I just don't like know that name. What's your name is what I'm trying to say. Anyway, yeah, that's a really good point about private collections. But I don't want to be a curator. And some private collections like have more than just like their curator on staff. I want to be well, now that I'm doing so much digital, like I guess doing digital work, but like my original preferred title would have been like registrar or collections manager, which the issue is like you usually don't have more than one person on a staff for that. And then usually you have interns because that work isn't like it's technical and you need to know that like the technique and the information behind it, but it's stuff that you really have to learn like in a work environment. So there's a lot of interns in that field, but then when those interns try to turn over to real jobs, those jobs aren't there. And so that's like another huge issue. But like I said, it's because I'm very particular about where I want to live, and I don't want to live in nowhere. Like, I don't want to live nowhere. I want to live somewhere where like there's things to do and people to see, and there's an art culture, and that, like, I'm not going to go and work in Oklahoma at that art museum because of that reason, you know? So
I feel you. All right. So there are 36 questions that lead to love, apparently. I'm going to skip the first one. It's like, if given the choice of anyone in the world, who would you want as a dinner guest? I don't like that question. I've always found it really fucking boring. So excuse me. So the second one is, would you like to be famous, and in what way?
Okay. Are you going to go first? I guess you.
I'll go first.
You know your answer.
Yeah, I would like to be famous. I think it would be so, I mean, like, you know, granted that it is a positive experience and not a negative and toxic one, like most celebrity things are. I would like to be famous for something to do with like maybe art. Not that I'm like, oh, I'm an artist, but I am artistic. So I'd like to be famous for maybe like my photography, or not.
Yeah.
Okay, this sounds like so silly, but like I've loved photography for many years, and it's something that it's a big passion of mine, but I've never wanted to pursue it as like a career thing because I just love it too much to want the praise aspect of it, and like the failure that can often be coupled with it. So if I were famous, I'd like it to be for my photography and the fact that it's purely a hobby. And so it's like, wow, how did she get famous? Well, she just takes pictures of cats and flowers and
your photography is great.
Thank you. Oh my God, I'm famous now.
You are.
What would you be famous for? Or do you even want to be famous?
I think, yeah, I would. One, because I thrive on recognition. And I think like I'm ambitious enough that I understand that with a certain amount of like power, I guess, or like scaling, you receive a certain amount of recognition. And so that like you become famous in particular world, right? I'm not talking, I don't want to be like you said, like I don't want to be like a famous, like a superstar, like a singer or like a movie star or anything like that. Like I think I'd like to be well known in the like the museum world. I definitely think that's something that I've always kind of thought I should pursue. The hard part is a lot of the times you have to be a thought leader to become like someone like that, and I don't necessarily think I thrive on like developing museum like theory, but I definitely could like work my way up by working hard and like that kind of like more of like a director position and be well known as like a director of a certain institution. I think like I don't, this is a really dumb thing to say, but like in the YouTube realm, I have always really, I've tried to be someone that people kind of know or know about, but just because like I like to make friends.
Yeah.
And if you know people, then you know more people. And that's kind of been my philosophy about that. But I've never wanted to be like YouTube famous because it sounds terrible.
Yeah.
And obviously I don't care about that because I haven't made a video in like over 6 months. So we're
girl, fine. Me neither. So we're both good on that front. Do you want to answer another question?
Yeah.
Okay. So when did you last sing to yourself, and when did you last sing to someone else?
I sing to myself all the time. I guess it was probably a couple days ago, maybe a week ago. I was like singing. What was I singing? Something. Was it Memory? I was listening to like Broadway, so I was singing like Memory all alone in the moonlight. Yeah. And just around my house because no one else was home, and I was like, ooh, I'm gonna
Oh,
take this opportunity.
give me
But
that spotlight, baby.
and then sang to someone else. I think it was my birthday or the night before my birthday. I was in the car with Kaylee and Elena, and Elena like didn't know that I was a singer or was a singer. And she's like, "Oh my God, sing!" And I hate it when people do that, but I was like I was drunk, and I was like, "Okay."
Oh my
And so I
God.
like sang a song. I sang like an operatic song that I used to sing when I was in college, like in the car really quickly. And I was like,
Nice.
"Okay, stop." And then I left. I went home.
Wow. I love your singing.
Thank you.
You should do like a singing live stream 24/7 365 live stream of Mary singing. The last time I sang earlier today. What did I sing?
Anastasia.
Oh yeah, Anastasia. The In the dark of the night, that song, you know?
Yeah. People
Yeah.
will find her.
Yeah, I sang that
Actually,
one.
we sang together earlier today.
Yes, we did. I feel like you and I, we just sing our feelings, you know? It's pretty much just how we communicate these days.
Yeah.
I sing a lot to the cats. I sing in the car. I used to sing in the shower, but I don't anymore because I don't.
In like growing up, I was a shower singer. Like
Yes.
singing Evanescence in the shower like it was nobody's business. And I
No,
thought
Mary.
destined for the stage, which at that point I really was because I was like doing opera and musical theater.
Girl, me too, though. Like back in grade school and stuff, I was all about singing. Even I'm not like the strongest singer. Like I'm an alto, and I don't know how to read music. I can definitely follow the notes in terms of like, oh, that's up, that's down. But I could not sing a note for you if you were like, sing a B.
But no, most people can't do that though. That's like perfect pitch.
Okay,
So
good.
yeah,
I don't
worry
got
about that.
Um,
You can have relative pitch, which means like you train, it's like muscle memory. And so you train one specific tone or like note, and then you like sing it. It's like your go-to note. So you can say, okay, I trained myself to kind of know where like a G is, and then you go, ah, and then that's a G.
this is sorcery.
I don't think that's a G. I just picked a note.
Okay.
It might be. Anyone have a piano?
Okay, let's go for another question. Okay.
Are you just picking ones at random?
Yeah, because some of these, like, there's one that says, take 4 minutes and tell your partner your life story in as much detail as possible. And I don't feel like we need to do that. So if you could wake up tomorrow having gained any one quality or ability, what would it be? Chris says that's not a G, by the way. Good to know. I like that, like, we're reading the chat and then we just furious typing. Hold on, I have to respond. So tomorrow you wake up.
What was it? If you're so smart.
It was like,
I think it was probably A.
Yeah, that's what I said. See, I know my notes for sure. Oh, speaking of notes, this is like not related to the question that I asked you, but when we were cleaning out the laundry room to do the chocolates for my chocolate business that I'm starting, we found Pappy's recorder from like school, and we brought it home, and I've been playing some recorder tunes, and I will spare the live stream the atrocity of my recorder playing, but I'm really enjoying it. I feel like because recorders, it's pretty straightforward. Like you just use your fingers like that, you know? It's a lot easier for me to understand than like a guitar where you've got the strumming and the picking and like the also chords and notes and all that up there and then down there. It's too much. Whereas this is like, it's all right here and I can see it when I just look down. So that's where I'm at. I was also
that's how you play Hot Cross Buns is da, 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 da. Something like that. Or no, you keep 3 and then you let them go. You go up for the different. I think that's it.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. Also, I used to play clarinet, so that's probably related to my recorder abilities. Anyway, speaking of abilities, tomorrow you wake up, you've gained one quality or ability. What would it be? Mary, go.
I don't know.
Can I throw some shade at you?
At me? Sure.
Yeah, just as like a joke. Please don't hate me. Okay, maybe the ability that you gain is natural spell check.
Yeah, actually. Probably.
Do you hate me for that? I thought it would be funny.
Not at all.
Good.
No, not at all.
Right.
To be fair, my issue isn't, sometimes it's spelling, but my issue is mistyping so that the words that I type aren't caught by spell check. So it's like I'll forget an S, or I'll literally type the wrong word, or I forget the word. That happens a ton of times. Like I'll write something out and in my mind I'm like, yeah, but my fingers literally skip words in the sentence.
Yeah.
And then I read it and then my mind goes, that's correct. And then I send it.
Oh, Mary.
It's never correct.
Pick one for me, since I picked one for you. You pick one for me now.
Oh God, this is hard. I don't I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, no, you've got to pick one for me. I did one for you.
I know.
Spill the tea, Mary. I'm thirsty. Spill that tea. Right?
No, I don't think this is shade though. And you think this, you probably know this. I don't even know if this is an ability.
Now I'm like, what is she going to say?
It's not like an ability or a skill, but it's like, because I just think you're spectacular and I think you can do amazing things. But I think if you could wake up one day and not have anxiety ever again, you would be like the president of the world, you know?
I think you're right about that. You're a really good friend for saying that. Thank you so much. I feel bad for saying the spell check thing. Okay, I've got a good one for you now. Okay, so the quality that you would have is the ability to quality.
Wait, are we still doing this?
I decided to pay you a nice compliment because you are so great too, Mary.
You don't have to though. You don't have
but
to.
I want to. I think that one that you would really like is just the ability to like teleport. Just
oh my God, yes. If I could just apparate places, like that would.
Yeah. Yeah,
like,
I feel like
I could do everything I needed in my life. Like I've been thinking about a trip to Antigua.
Oh my gosh.
I'm serious. I'm very serious. I'm gonna be in the Caribbean at some point this year. Just you wait. Just you wait. Just you wait.
Are you ready for the next question?
Always.
Okay. So if a crystal ball could tell you the truth about yourself, your life, the future, or anything else, what would you want to know? So like you can ask the crystal ball anything. What would you want to know? Like, how do I die? Or like, what's the meaning of life?
I don't want to do. My choice would be not to. I'd be like, sorry, bye. Wow. Like I like living in the unknown. Like maybe I think one thing I would maybe ask just in general is like, when is the second coming of Christ? So that I can be ready.
I think, well, similarly, I think I'd ask, where are the aliens? And, similar. Yeah. Other good things to ask a crystal ball. Does my cat hate me? What is my cat thinking? And also, when will I get more cats? Those are things I always try to ask. Okay, next question. Is there something that you've dreamed of doing for a long time, and why haven't you done it? Why haven't you done it, Mary? Oh my God, Chris says that he'd ask what the next lotto winning numbers are.
That's smart.
Yeah. we're just like, yeah, with aliens, Christ.
Christ. I don't know.
Should I answer?
Yeah, if you have an answer, go ahead.
Okay. So I'm going to take this literally. I have dreamed. Okay, I feel like I've talked about this.
I've been really meaning to do my laundry.
Girl, why haven't you done it?
There's a pile over there. You want to see it?
I've got a pile there. You can literally see it's nice. A large one. Yeah. So I've been dreaming. I've had this like series or oh gosh, how do I explain? Okay, so for a while I've been a huge fan of Hilary Duff. So much so that like pretty much since I found out about Hilary Duff and became a huge fan, I will have these dreams where I'm her best friend. And so that's what I would like to do. I'd like to be Hilary Duff's best friend. And like, you know how sometimes you have a dream about a celebrity, or, you know, maybe you don't, but I've had dreams about celebrities where it's like, they're so cute, we're dating, like, you know, it's serious, like it's for real. They're trying to woo me and I'm playing hard to get, you know. But well, like with Hilary, it's like, I'm there to support her. And like, I want to hang out with her and her son, Luca. I want to meet all the dogs, even though I like cats, you know, it's like a whole thing. And, you know, I'm just the supportive sidekick best friend in Hilary Duff's life. So the reason why I haven't done that is because I live in England, and also Hilary Duff
is a celebrity.
Yeah, so it's great. It's great. Your turn.
Sorry, I'm just retweeting into the Twitter account so that more people come and hang. So I'll take it a little bit like you did, where it's probably not going to happen. Yeah. Probably, you know. Mine would just to be, I guess the question we're answering really is just like our dream.
Yeah, yeah.
Like unrealistic. But mine would be to go to a Barbra Streisand concert.
Oh my gosh.
Like all I want, like I could die happy. I could die tomorrow if I got to go see a Barbra Streisand concert tonight. Like I just want to see her sing live. And, you know, to add a cherry on top, I would love to meet her because I just think she is like the queen. Yeah. She is. She can't be compared.
No, she can't. There's no other, honestly. So when's it going to sink in, honestly?
Your fave could never.
Never.
Never. So, yeah.
I think those are good answers, you know. Celebrity. There's a few. Okay. I've scrolled down. I've seen some questions. So this next question says, if you knew that in 1 year you would die suddenly, would you change anything about the way you are living now, and why? Hard-hitting questions, you know?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I'd probably quit my job.
Yeah. Maybe go home, you know, for a little bit. Tell my dad, like, Dad, listen. Something's gonna happen to me. Don't freak out. Don't freak out. But I know that my life ends on this date, and I really need you to give me a lot of money so that I can travel the world for the next year. And that'll be it. Like, I would literally just get on a plane and fly. I'd fly to London. I would crash on Steven and Matt's couch again for a month or two. And then I'd be like, peace out. Got to go see the Balkans. And then... Oh my gosh. You got it all planned. You're like, so...
And then I'd be like, if I knew what was going to happen, I'd be like, okay, gotta, like, maybe, like, if it was really bad, I would, this is really morbid. But if I knew I was going to die a really bad way, I would probably try to kill myself in a different way.
Oh my gosh.
But I would wait till like the day before, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of
wow.
scary, but you know, I'm just being practical here.
Yeah, I think that's fair. If it were me, honestly, I feel like there's not too much I'd change about my life. Like I definitely wouldn't, I don't have a job to quit, so I wouldn't do that. And I don't think that I'd like just get on a plane and not get off, basically. I think what I would like to do is I'd like to go traveling, but ultimately I would just like to enjoy the rest of my time with cats. Honestly, like my motivations revolve around cats. So, yeah. I hope that I wouldn't die in like a grotesque manner. But
yeah,
you never know. And
I feel like if you were just gonna, if you like found out you were just gonna die like in your sleep or whatever,
yeah.
I would have like the most relaxing day the day before. I'd be like, I'm gonna go to a hot spring.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get my nails done.
If I knew I was gonna like die in my sleep, I'd immediately order the most extreme plushy bed and like 1,000 count thread count sheets.
Ooh, yeah.
And
Egyptian cotton.
Yes. And you know what I'd do? I'd go to like, well, I would procure some marijuana and just like just chill in bed. And that's how I would go if I knew I was gonna die in my sleep. I'd be like, girl, let's get it started.
I just read, well, when you first started, I read Taha's comment, which is really funny, which is, I want to skydive without a parachute and land in a grave.
Wow, that's like some Elon Musk sort of plan. To be able to land in the grave.
Yeah.
I mean,
you gotta have some direct calculations to really make that
you know,
correct.
I actually know Elon personally, so I think I could make that happen. If you're interested, you know, just DM me on Twitch, because I don't know why. That's the first thing that came to mind.
Procure. What a great word, honestly.
Okay. I have another question.
Uh-huh.
What do you value most in a friendship?
Oh.
Bringing it back to friendship. Oh my gosh. Sam says she'd shave her head and have a carefree year of not having to blow dry her hair ever again.
Girl, I never blow dry my hair. Get rid of it. Just throw it away. You don't have a hair dryer. You just don't have
it. embrace the natural, like, frizz.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Just embrace the rat nest.
The rat. Embrace the rat. Embrace the rat king that is your hair when it dries.
Like, if I try to, I see, look, I'm like pushing very hard.
Wow. I could do that, but then my hair would be very bad. I'd look like Hermione in HP1.
Yes. Yes. That's if I brush my hair, that's what I look like. So it's chill. It's fine. I don't know. Do you have an answer to this initially?
What do I value most in friendship?
Mm-hmm.
I value honesty, I think.
Yeah.
So, and I think that kind of like plays into a lot of different areas, like feeling comfortable enough to be honest with each other, and like honest about how you're feeling, honest about what's going on. Like if someone, like for instance, if like your friend was seeing someone and you found out that like their significant other was cheating on them or did something, being able to be honest with your friend because like you care about them and you want them to know this stuff. I think all of that is really important. And it's something I value when people can be honest with me, like that infamous time we've mentioned so many times on the podcast when you said that I was judgmental, and I really took it to heart and used that to make me a better person. So yeah. So aside from honesty, what do you value most in a friendship?
I mean, I totally agree on the honesty front. I also add frankness. like, because you can be honest, but you can't be frank about things sometimes. It's like your honesty is sometimes sugar coated, and like I just think when someone can just say what they feel like really like clearly, I think that's a good thing, because then you never, like, honestly, you never are wondering like, what is this person feeling, like, am I doing this correctly, is it me, is it them, like, you kind of just know. But also I think, I don't know how to, like, it's not wrapped up in one singular word, but when someone is just so relaxed, like,
Yeah.
you can just be your natural self,
Yeah, like,
and you can tell that with someone, and you as the friend feel that way with them as well. I
have
think
you ever
that's,
had it where, like, have you ever been in a situation where it's like either you or the other person is more comfortable in the friendship and you can tell that, like, it's not balanced, like you're not both comfortable, one of you is and one of you isn't?
mm.
You have?
No, I mean, it's hard, sometimes it's hard to tell with the other person, because it might always just be in their head, like, on the outside they seem fine, but like on the
Yeah.
inside they're like, oh my god, like, this isn't going well,
Mhm.
sort of thing. Um, yeah, I mean, yeah, you can usually tell. And I think most of the time it happens when a friendship is like in its early stages, which makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, but I think there's also like an additional layer beyond like just a normal friendship, where you just feel like yourself. You don't have to put on any kind of airs. You don't have to segment like, oh, I'm acting like, this is the segment of my life where I kind of act like this person rather than like this person. And it's
Yeah.
not a huge difference. You're not two different people, but maybe in one situation you're more outgoing. But when you have a friend who maybe it's like not, maybe what I'm thinking of is not like a friendship quality in the other person, but how I feel in the situation as the friend,
Yeah.
is that I'm the person who I am in my room, when no one else
Mhm.
is there.
Mhm.
And when we were talking about singing earlier, like, that's something that I noticed, like, when I'm comfortable with a person, I just like will sing.
Yeah.
You know? Like, I don't feel weird about, like, hearing a word and then just singing.
Yeah.
Because that's just what my, like, natural reaction is, and that's just, like, I don't know, that's how I show a certain part of myself, you know?
Yeah. I think that's, like, how you express yourself too, like,
Yeah, yeah.
um, I I guess that's also how I express myself, like, oftentimes, when Pappy is, like, working from home, and I'll be kinda, like, bored, or I'll be playing Sims, and we won't have any music or podcasts on or anything. I'll just literally start singing about, like, for instance, poop, because it sounds so funny, and why not, right? But I'll just, like, sing over and over and over, but it just goes to show that I'm very comfortable in my relationship, and sometimes you gotta sing about poop, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I
Mhm.
agree.
I think that,
I've never sung about poop before, sorry.
yeah, well,
But,
maybe
like,
you will
that's really
now.
weird. Well, my
Judging me.
singing, like, I don't normally, like, make songs.
Oh, you
I, like,
don't?
will sing songs based
Yeah.
on, like, things in the natural world around me, but
Mhm.
I'm not coming up with, like, a ditty.
Well, that reminds me too about, like, you are much more fond of the music than the lyrics.
Oh, yeah, I wrote that whole blog post back
Yeah,
when I was doing blogs.
well, now you got a full-time job, baby. Ain't really got the time to write them blog posts.
I did write 3, which is, like, for me, that was pretty good.
Really good, yeah. It's more than 0.
It is.
Yeah, so other qualities, so Matt Palka in the chat, he says, "Lately, I've been reading some Brené Brown, and he thinks he values courageous vulnerability." So what do you think courageous vulnerability is? What's your interpretation?
Um, I think it's very similar maybe to what I was trying to describe, is that, like, you are yourself because you're vulnerable,
Yeah,
and
you
and
let
but
your barriers down.
right, and but with the courageous aspect. I think it's you do it before it's natural to you.
Yeah.
Which I think is a really good trait to implement in order to make a friendship one step more than it is, like make it from like really good friends to best friends, sort of like
totally
situation. I don't know.
That is something that I've actually been trying to do more of, is like open up more and let people know what I'm going through, and like how, I have anxiety and I have depression and like I see a therapist. So, but the ability to say those things to people helps in so many ways, not only in like, making me feel less alone, but it strengthens your relationships with people. Even if it's scary, it's so beneficial. So it is a really good quality to be able to open up, and it's scary, but it's good. You should do it. Do I sound convincing? Do it. It's scary.
I think I'm like, how, like on a scale from 1 to 10, how good do you think you are at that?
In general, I think so. There have been, this is kind of like a loaded question, but there have been times when I've overshared with people that I've met for like the first time, because it's that like nervous energy where I'm like, I really want them to like me, but I also, I don't know like how much to say, how much do they really want to know? And so I kind of test the waters by just like doing a bit of a word dump, or like a feeling dump, or something. And it's like, oh girl, they did not want all of that, but it is a good way to kind of judge like, how they take it. And sometimes people are like, okay, cool, but sometimes they're like, oh my god, same. And then I'm like, oh my god, really? I'm not alone in this. So but other times, like with people that I know from, say, like family, friends, or whatever, I've been better about being more vulnerable, but it's hard, and it's not like I do it. I'm able to do it all the time. I don't know. So out of 1 to 10, with people I know, I would say maybe like 50% of the time. So 5 out of 10. I'm a 5 out of 10. Or like as Dodie would say, I feel like a 6 out of 10. Am I right? I think that's something. Let me know in the chat if you guys get that reference.
I like that song.
Out of the dome, off the dome,
I feel like a 6 out of 10.
Oh, is that how it goes? I don't know. Okay.
I gotta get up early tomorrow again. I like other stuff. Anyway.
Okay.
Next question, I guess.
I've got a good one. So this one says, share with your partner an embarrassing moment in your life. So let's just take a moment, gather that embarrassing moment. It doesn't have to be too embarrassing, because I know we're in a live stream, so not like, oh, that time I murdered my.
That was so embarrassing.
What is with my brain? I just pulled out this like scenario. And it involved murdering my cousin. Watching too much Law and Order SVU, that's for sure. I've got one, but I'll wait for you to get one.
I hate this question, like whenever it comes up. I think we talked about this on the podcast once.
Oh, have we?
I don't know about embarrassing moments, maybe just in general, but I like don't.
Do you
remember them?
Like black them out?
I erase them from my mind. Like the only one that is like first popping in my head is something that probably wasn't. Like the thing with embarrassing moments is like you think it's embarrassing, but everyone else just thinks it's a normal incident. So
I've got one that goes back to like maybe elementary school. So that's the sort of era that I'm thinking of.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure we talked about this on the podcast at one point.
Oh.
It might be the same story. Like if you start the story, I'll remember. But like either way, like some people might not have heard it, so you should still tell it.
Wow,
But,
Mary, way to get me to embarrass myself. Yeah, like you should probably just still tell it again, like just in case.
Yeah, no. I mean, I definitely think you should.
Okay, I was going to anyway.
Okay, cool. But normally we would have edited that out of the podcast, probably, where we're like confused at each other. Embarrassing. I can definitely think of one from like an hour ago when I called 2016, 20 years ago.
Oh yeah.
That was embarrassing. But also like a few days ago at work, we were interviewing someone, and I knew that they were in like the conference room, and the conference room door was closed. I didn't realize, like, because when I had my interview, it was only 2 people. It was like the managing partner and then my like direct boss.
Mm-hmm.
And so I figured like that usually just like the direct boss does and the only reason I interviewed with the managing partner is because of my like recommendation. Like he got me through her. So it was like, that was the only reason. Normally I wouldn't have talked to him. But I see the conference room door close, and I'm like walking out to go talk to the front desk person about a project. And I see this other employee like start to walk into the conference room, and I go, oh, somebody's in there. And then she goes, I know, I'm going to talk to her. And I was like, oh God. Because like I'm relatively new, and I like didn't want it to seem like this is definitely a situation where like I think it's more embarrassing than she thought. She probably was just like whatever, and then just went and did the interview. But like in my mind, I'm like, oh my gosh, she's gonna go back and like talk to the managing partner and been like Mary, like Mary was like trying to, I don't even know, one up me or like trying to like correct what I was doing, and like because she's like a few positions higher than me, so I just figured like she didn't know. But then in my mind, as I walked away, I was like, well, the conference room door was closed. So she knew someone was in there. Like the only time it's closed is when someone's in there. Mm-hmm. And so she wouldn't have just walked in. She must have had like the purpose, but I was such an idiot. I just immediately was like, oh, someone's in there. Like, I know that there's someone in there and you don't, and you shouldn't go in there. Because I just thought that the girl who was interviewing was just going to interview with my boss because she's interviewing for like a digital position. So I just figured it would, because of my experience, you know?
Yeah. Well,
so
I don't
that
think
was embarrassing.
Don't worry. It's totally like normal. Anyone could have made that mistake. My embarrassing moment. So take it on back to elementary school. So when I was in elementary school, after school, there was, like Parks and Rec, which is where, you went to this like, oh gosh, what is it called? Kind of like a big, I almost said shed, but it's like a rec center, and they have these tables, and you do your homework, and I don't know for how long, maybe 30 minutes. You have to do your homework, and it's completely quiet. And then once you're done, you go outside and you play for the rest of the time. And like everyone, you either stay inside or you go outside onto like the jungle gym. And I think I must have been like 7 or 8, hopefully not much older than that. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to go outside. I love running around and like playing on the swings and make believe, all that fun stuff, Foursquare. And you basically play until you get picked up by your parents. And so I played for a while, and I had to pee really, really bad, but you can't go back inside.
You can't even go back inside to pee?
I don't remember. Maybe like I didn't want to ask or something.
Yeah.
Because there were bathrooms inside, obviously. But maybe it was like close to pickup time. So I was like, oh, I can't ask. And so on the pavilion where they had Foursquare, I sat down on the edge and I just peed my pants. I peed my pants. I just sat there. I couldn't hold it anymore. I couldn't stop it. It just happened.
Yeah, this is not a story I've heard.
Yeah, no. So there you go. Peed my pants.
I think everyone has a pee story, you know?
Yeah.
It's mostly when you're younger.
Yeah. Oh, there's another really embarrassing one while we're on like the bodily function thing in elementary school. It was lunchtime, and everyone was like sitting down at the lunch tables, and I think I must have been eating a hot dog. I don't know why, but I just felt like I was eating a hot dog. And then I felt like I was going to be sick. And I felt it like rise up into my mouth and like puffy cheeks. And I got up and I just started walking really fast. I had to get out of there. You know, it was like maybe third grade. And I didn't want anyone to know. And one of the like teachers or I don't know, assistant principals was like, "Where are you going?" I was like, "I gotta throw up." And I went outside and found a trash can and just let it loose. But I'll never forget that fast walk where I didn't know if I was going to make it or not. But everyone knew that I threw up because, like, hello, whenever anyone throws up, you know, right?
I'm impressed that you held it in.
I know. How did I manage to talk with it in my mouth? Because I think if I tried to do that now, girl,
it would not go well.
No. So in the chat, Matt says, one time I yelled nay out of nervousness at a youth leadership business session in 9th grade, and all the people started laughing. But he smiles looking back on it. So that's good. Taha says, we were listening to music after a night out a couple weeks ago on my Bluetooth speaker on my flatmate's phone, and then we all went to our rooms, but my Bluetooth speaker was still on and on full volume. And he started playing porn, but it was playing through my speaker in my room. What was happening? And then I had to have an awkward conversation with him to get him to disconnect it, so it didn't keep auto-connecting. Oh my God, that's like season 3 of Love on Netflix. That literally happens in like the first episode. Oh God.
Oh my God.
And that whole episode when that was happening, Pappy and I were watching and we were just like, oh no, I can't believe that happened in real life. Oh wow. Well, you know, at least it was your friend or your flatmate and not you. Right? So, you know,
that's fair.
swings and roundabouts. Wow. Yeah. I cringed so much from those. Okay. This next one is a little, I don't know what, I'll just ask it. What, if anything, is too serious to be joked about?
Rape and racism in general.
Yeah. Those are like,
yeah, I mean,
no. Whenever I hear about like okay, so you know Paul Hollywood. Do you know who Paul Hollywood is? Okay, he is the white dude on British Bake Off. He's the white dude that's not Noel Fielding.
Oh, yes, yeah. I didn't know his last name was Hollywood.
I know, right?
It's a weird last name, but I know who you're talking about, yeah.
So he dressed up as a Nazi for a fancy dress party. And for me, like Hitler, Holocaust, anything like that is like, no. Anything that's just inexcusable. I don't get it. Like, why are people, I don't get it. Like, you can't dress up like that. You cannot. And he's still on Great British Bake Off. And we were at Pappy's parents' house and we were watching Great British Bake Off. And I was like, I don't like Paul Hollywood. And they were like, why? And I was like, he dressed up as a Nazi. And they were like, oh my God. So the more you know. Okay. All right. This one's a good one. This is like, I'm going to bring the mood up. So tell your partner what you like about them. Be very honest this time, saying things that you might not say to someone you've just met.
I mean, we've done this before.
Yes, but we're doing it live.
No, we're doing it live. So now, Prince Harry dressed up as a Nazi too.
Oh my God, what is?
I mean, before we move on, I have joked about someone looking like a Nazi, but not like I haven't dressed up as a Nazi. So
Yes.
yeah, I think there's a line.
Yeah.
Anyway, so definitely, I love how funny you are. Like that's one of my favorite things about you is you're very like candid. Like your humor is very like off the cuff, and like you're quite witty, and I appreciate that because it makes just being your friend so much more fun. And I love that you can be quite like I was saying earlier, like you don't sugarcoat. Well, with me at least, like I don't feel like you sugarcoat things. Like you're straightforward about how you feel. And that like honesty about how you feel is refreshing. And I don't have to worry. I'm like, is she like trying to manipulate me? Which sometimes I think about with people.
Really? That's so nice. Thanks, Mary. I haven't been called witty maybe ever, or like certainly not in like a long time.
That I would place that like in your top like traits, you know?
Thank you. That's so nice. I love that. I always admire people who are able to just like come up with those one-liners, like, you know, when
oh my god, yeah,
you're playing games where you've got to come up with like you know, a quip or something. I feel like I'm just like, I don't fucking know what to say. Like, how do words work? I don't know. That means a lot. Thank you. So what I like about you, Mary, actually, this is going to sound like I just am copying you, but I feel like you're very honest and you're very blunt about how you feel. And I
blunt
think maybe
is the word that I've been described as before.
I think that's kind of like where you and I get along really well, because we have a lot of conversations where we're just like, so here's the deal. And I love that like we can just kind of like dish it out and, you know, talk smack, you know? I mean, who doesn't love that? But I also like how analytical you are as well, because a lot of the time I deal in feelings, whereas you are like, here are the facts. And this research study says that 5 out of 10 people say that Cece doesn't know how analytics work. And, you know, so yeah. But also I think you're very driven in
thank you.
ways that I always am really impressed by. Like, I think it's really impressive that you like, you just, life finds a way, you know, like you moved to London, you saw your future, you took it. And like, even with DC now, like, yeah, you're like, this job kind of sucks, but you're not like, oh, this job sucks, I'm trapped.
I'm just like, yeah, I'll get through it and move on.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. Yeah.
You're tough as nails.
Thank you. Well, I mean, on that, since you said like 3 traits, I'm gonna add a trait for you, which is that I think you're very like, I mean, I feel like saying someone is creative is kind of like a blah thing, but I think you're like a mixture of creative and crafty. Like I would have never been like, you know what, I'm gonna make candles for my relatives and I'm gonna make chocolate. Like I never in my life thought, you know what, I'm gonna be a chocolatier tomorrow.
I do that a lot though. I'm like, oh, this thing, I'm really into it and that's what I'm gonna be. So thanks.
And I think you're pretty good at sticking to things. And I know this is part of what you talk about with Pappy on your podcast, but like I have tried to do like, and everyone fails at things. I'm not saying that you've never failed before, because everyone does, but like the consistency you've gone to like your to the gym and like trying new things and sticking it out, and sometimes it doesn't work and sometimes it does, but like I also see, like, through your tweets, I've been able to see, like, you're much more aware of your emotions and when you should take steps in to make it better. And I find that to be a great quality, because if there's one thing that I know that I do, is that I tend to ignore my emotions. Like, I'll
yeah,
it's not ignore them completely. Like, I'm aware they're there, and I'm like, and I can handle them, but like I don't make active steps in order to really understand them, you know?
But I see that more as like you're very good at compartmentalizing and like you'll deal with it later sort of thing, which can be really useful. You know,
Yeah.
sometimes I wish that I had that capability because you know, there are times when I try to do it and then I just end up bottling it up and be like, I'm fine, I don't need help, I'm good. And when I get like that, you know, girl, take a look in the mirror. That's it. That's
Michael Jackson.
Looking at the girl in the mirror, you know.
Man in the mirror.
Oh, that was nice though. I'm glad that you think those things of me.
Like, we could just go on and on about how each other is amazing.
You're good. No, I'm good. We're both
okay. We're gonna add a layer to this. What is one of your favorite things about Pappy? Producer Pappy.
Oh, okay.
He's about to make his debut. Well, not debut. His second appearance.
Okay, like, you know, he's my husband, so like I have to say like I love him and I love that he loves me, blah blah blah. But one of my favorite qualities of producer Pappy, who's right here, so one of my favorite qualities is the fact that he will come home from work after like a long day and he'll ask like, what do you want for dinner? And I'll say, I don't know. And then he'll say, do you want baked potatoes? And I'll say, yeah. And then he'll be like, do you want to cook it? And I'll be like, no. And he'll still cook it. So, and by that, I just mean that like he loves me enough to like take care of me and he doesn't like judge me for being lazy. So
I was gonna say that my favorite is that he's very helpful, which I think kind of falls into what you're saying, because even like anytime I've stayed over, like he's very accommodating and wants to like make sure people are comfortable and like always asking questions, and I just think
he's super hospitable and like he's a kind person. And even like hearing about how he interacts with people at work, you can just tell that people really gravitate towards him and that he's like a born leader and he's just like really charismatic. And like I'm gonna take credit for that because if you knew him like 7 years ago, girl,
no
everything.
You both have complimented each other.
Yes. Oh, that's so good. Okay, now Pappy, you have to say stuff like no, you don't.
You just type them in the comments, let everybody know.
Yeah, type in the comments what you think are our best qualities that we haven't already stated. That's the caveat. You can't say stuff we've already said. So you've got to think of brand new qualities.
Like me and Pappy are going to go on a trip to Japan without you, Cece, so it's fine.
But I already looked up how much it would cost for 2 people to fly from England.
Okay, I'm kidding. You're definitely coming with me.
Okay.
Is it like pretty reasonable or?
So for like February next year, because that's when I just figured maybe.
Yeah, I was thinking like April of next year, so even like.
Yeah.
Better in terms of like the, farther out, the cheaper it is sort of idea, but.
Yeah. The cost for 2 people to fly is about £1,000.
That's not bad.
Total.
Total.
Yeah.
So like £500 each.
Yeah. Yeah.
Girl, it cost us like £2,000 to go to Seattle. So.
Yikes.
But, edibles, right? Mary's like, this is gonna get demonetized.
It's okay. I'm already demonetized.
Girl, me too. Aren't we all?
Are there more questions, or should we?
There are so many questions.
Let's send it to the chat.
Yeah,
I see that there's 11 people listening.
Hey,
And I know that some people are being very quiet. So if you haven't typed anything, let us know that you're here.
you
Let us
better
have a
type
question. Let us know if you where you come from. Are you from
Yeah.
like Twitter? Are you a listener of the podcast? Are you a subscriber of my channel and you just stumbled upon this one day? You're like, who is this girl? I subscribed to her 4 years ago and I've never seen a video before. Like, just, let us know. Well, wait.
There's a question from Hale in Place, and they say, "Are you going to make vegan chocolate? So much chocolate is not vegan friendly, even dark." And that is something I really want to try and incorporate when I do make chocolate. Is making at least some varieties that are vegan friendly, and also with like the chocolate bars or like this sort of stuff that you can include in them, making sure that they are some of them at least, because like I'm not gluten-free and I'm not vegan. So I want to be able to accommodate for the people that are. And like two of my sister-in-laws, one is gluten-free, one is vegan. So I would like to be able to share my spoils with them. So that's something I am looking into making. It is just, it is difficult to find the ingredients to do it. I don't do like bean to bar because that is really tough and expensive to get the equipment. So it's a matter of finding like the suppliers for the vegan chocolate and then making it look nice and taste even better. So yes, something I'm looking into for sure.
Good question.
Yes. More questions.
Has there been others that
I'm trying to read.
No, I'm looking too.
No. There are loads more questions. Should we answer some of them that are, while we wait for the chat?
Yeah, sure. And I will say that it's around 3:00 now, my time, which is getting kind of late in the UK. So we'll probably only go another 30 minutes just so everyone is like aware. We don't want to make this like a 5-hour long live stream, although we probably could.
Yeah, I think we definitely could.
Yeah.
Knowing how many tangents we can go on. Okay, so for what in your life do you feel most grateful?
I mean, like, I am aware of how privileged I've been in my life. Not only like a systematic privilege, understanding of privilege, like I'm a white person sort of thing. But like that I have family that even if I like lost my job tomorrow and I maxed out all my credit cards and I couldn't pay my rent, like I would not have to worry. I could go home or I could I could have my parents help me out for a couple months and get myself back up on, my 2 feet. I've been privileged enough to, get a master's degree and know that I have like student loans, but I'll never have to worry about like going under because of my student loans. And I think I'm very grateful for like my family in that sense, and like my support systems throughout my life. Like even if my family wasn't around anymore, I would still have people who I think would definitely like take me in and like support me, and that's like family, friends to actual friends. I think that's definitely something I'm very thankful for how much I've gotten to travel in my life, even the little bit amount I have, because like my parents have never left the United States. Like
Really?
yeah. And neither of them have traveled past the Mississippi.
Whoa.
So like, and by the time I was, 15, I'd been to California already. So it's like, it's definitely because my parents have worked hard in order to give me those experiences, and also my drive to go places. So yeah, those are my big things.
Wow. I feel like I learned so much. and I also agree with you about like I'm super grateful for my family and my husband's family. We're very fortunate that if like he lost a job and you know I had to pay my student loans and everything, like we'd be okay. But not to like, you know, copy you. I'll try and
you
do
can.
something else. Well, I feel like you explained it very, very well, very eloquently. So I don't want to like muck it up with my like, oh well, I like these things because it did this for me. So
exceptional that accent.
Yeah, what can I say? I spend a lot of time alone. So I'm grateful for my well, a few things. I'm grateful for my sense of humor because I think that I love laughing and I love laughing at things, particularly myself, the people around me.
I love laughing at myself.
Life. Like I am so glad that there are still reasons to laugh in life, and you know, depression is a thing that you know can seem a bit daunting, but I love that I'm still able to like poke fun at myself at times about like, oh, I slept for 18 hours. What's this t-shirt? Not that that's something I would ever tweet, but hold on, let me just got something. No, just kidding, guys. I'm also I'm grateful for my brothers because I think we share a lot of the same
nice.
sort of sense of humor. So it links in with like the sense of humor thing. And I think growing up with two brothers and being the only girl and the middle child, you know, as much as it was really annoying and sometimes I don't feel appreciated, I feel like they do respect me and they look up to me and they think amazing things about me. So, you know, you could say I am famous in my family because, you know, married, 2 cats, got to open up a chocolate business, call me Willy Wonka. So yeah, it's nice to have siblings that you feel like you can laugh with. Speaking of, I've got this great photo of me and my brothers. So that's my older brother, Zach. And that's obviously me. And that's my younger brother, Devin. So
honestly, never seen a photo more in the 90s.
With my Esmeralda shirt.
And that car.
Yeah, it's like a Jeep, I don't know, Grand Cherokee, something. It's a red Jeep. Yeah, my younger brother isn't wearing any shoes. We're getting ready for school, but he's not wearing shoes. So, Florida, am I right?
Yeah. Devin, am I right?
Yeah, for real. Matt
oh, yeah, go ahead. I was going to read that.
Okay. Okay, so, okay, can I go, Mary? Okay, I'm going to go. Matt says, definitely grateful for people that care and provide opportunities to me to lift me up when I fall. This has been fun and enjoyable. Thanks. Off to cook food.
Oh, thank you for tuning in, Matt. You're the best.
Thanks for tuning in. And I hope your food is really nice and tasty and not burnt at all.
Yes, agreed. Also, there's a pug outside. I just want everyone to know. I don't know if you can see it. No, there's a pug. I want everyone to know that.
Good to know.
Hail in Place, I guess that's what we're calling you, said, where was my favorite place in the UK?
Definitely my flat, 100%.
Yeah, I did enjoy going to your flat. That is definitely my top. Probably
but 3. In the United Kingdom, you can expand it, you know.
Like the places I visited in the UK.
Yeah, the UK, Mary.
I don't know. This is really hard. I loved Edinburgh. But I didn't spend like a ton of time there. Like I liked it from like the very surface experience that I got. Like I felt good there. Like I'm walking the streets, so I was like, oh yeah, I like this. But like sort of more touristy places that I visited, Chatsworth House I just had an amazing time. I had an amazing day. It was beautiful outside. It wasn't too crowded. Like it was gorgeous. And that is, where is that? Like that's right outside of I'm
I have
blanking.
no idea.
In the like Lake District, I think. Right? I don't know. I don't know where it is in the country specifically, but it's like in the middle.
According to Google, it is in the Peak District.
Oh, Peak District.
Yeah.
What city is it by though?
It's in the Derbyshire. It's in Bakewell, northeast of Bakewell, and 9 miles of Chesterfield.
No, like what's the biggest city around there though?
Bakewell.
No, like if you look at the map, what is the city that sticks out?
Okay. Halen Place is saying near Edenzer and Bakewell, Derbyshire, Peak District. So I'm on a map right now, Mary. I see Beeley, Bakewell, Old Brampton, Chesterfield, Sheffield. So it's kind of near Sheffield. So it's quite north.
Sheffield.
Sheffield. It's in Sheffield. Near Sheffield.
Like I would say that it's in Sheffield, as like if I'm going to Sheffield, I'm going to Chatsworth. Anyway, yeah, that was an amazing experience. And I really loved it. I really liked Bristol as well when I went to Bristol. I didn't I traveled in the UK a little, but not like a ton. I didn't get to oh, you know what? Actually, drop that. Like favorite place, like in terms of not London, York. I loved York.
Wow.
Yeah.
My favorite place, for those of you asking, I know everyone wants to know. My favorite place in well, I'm gonna say in Surrey, because I live in Surrey. I really like Guildford. It's my favorite place to go see movies. There's a really good Odeon. It's the one we frequent. It's not technically the closest one to where we are. Epsom is a little closer. But Guildford is great because there's shopping, there's canals. So oftentimes my in-laws will take their canal boat and they'll go through Guildford. And yeah, Guildford's great. Guildford. It's like the closest city to us, I think, because it has a cathedral, so it's like a proper city. And I would love to live there one day, but housing prices, just a little much for a two-bed detached house with a garden and parking. It's a bit much.
Taha asked me if I ever went to Cambridge, which he should know because I was like texting him when I went, but it's fine. Yes, I've been to Cambridge. I was there for one day. I wish I'd been there, gotten a chance longer time period, but it was a beautiful day that I went. I was actually there for my dissertation. I did an interview at one of the museums there. And I kind of did a very swift tour of the college. It was really like I went to the museum and then I like walked in a circle back to the train station after my interviews were over. And during that, I like went kind of through like the main area of the university. So yes, Fitzwilliam Darcy. No, that's the museum's name. I know.
It's really funny. It's funny because like
the Fitzwilliam Museum. Yes.
Hearing about all the places that you've been, I'm like, I've never fucking been there, and I don't think I'm gonna go there because I don't know why.
You need to go.
But it's like
we're gonna go.
Why? Like I've been to London. It's okay. There's a lot of soot. My nose is black when I come back, and I don't like it. It's really gross.
But you don't notice that like until the end of the day, and you're like, "What the fuck?"
Girl, I notice when my nose gets blocked up. It just feels like more heavy. That's how I would describe it.
Yeah.
I haven't really been to places like I've been to Brighton, and I've been to like the places near me: Epsom, Leatherhead, Reigate, Guildford, as I mentioned, like my favorite place, just because there's a good movie theater and shopping. My priorities are good. I've been to Oxford. Oxford was cool. It's pretty and nice. It's pretty nice. I've also been to Manchester, and that was good. Apart from that, I've been to Middlesbrough. Didn't like it. It was pretty grubby. Let's just say that. Yeah, I feel like that's pretty much it. Oh, I've been to Brighton, and I've had 2 bad experiences each time. So it's like,
oh no. We should go to Brighton when I come in August.
You know,
maybe if you're with me, it'll be so much better.
Okay, maybe. That sounds doable.
But also, when I went to Brighton, I only went to Brighton once, and I was with a large group of people, and it was a little bit difficult to experience it the way I wanted. Also, my Bluetooth headphones just died, so I hope there isn't an echo, but there is going to be one now. Sorry, folks.
That's okay. We're getting to the end of it.
Yeah, we are. So
gosh, I can hear myself.
Middlesbrough is apparently not a popular place for a lot of people.
No, it's pretty gross. And it's really far up north.
Yeah, so the tentative plan is for me to come in August to England, and that's when I'm going to take like the most of my days off. I'll probably be there for about 8 days, is to travel more around England, because when I lived there, I just didn't do a lot of that. So I want to do more of that. Like, I definitely am not going to go to York, because I've been to York like several times. Huh?
We can road trip because we have a car.
Yeah.
No.
Like I said, I know it's like a stupid thing, and it's like whatever, but I still haven't been to Stonehenge. Girl, and I know it's like whatever, but I have to go. Like, I have to go at least once, and I want to go to the White Cliffs as well.
I do too. Let's do that.
So that's going to be part of our road trip. Taha, you can come if you want.
Yeah, I mean, we've got
just inviting people now. So that's the plan.
What's the Middlesbrough disaster? I don't know that. Should I Google it or should I not? Middlesbrough disaster.
Is that some kind of like coal mining thing?
Could be.
Probably.
I only see Hillsborough.
Like Hills, like Tampa?
Hillsborough. I don't know. Have any of you ever been told you look like certain celebrities? Oh my gosh, yes. When I had a pixie cut like 6 years ago or so, people used to tell me on Tumblr that I look like Carey Mulligan, and I love Carey Mulligan. I will happily take that compliment, but I don't think I look like her these days.
I get Amy Adams a lot.
Yeah. Oh, you should go like redhead.
Whenever I start getting gray hairs, I'll probably dye my hair, but I've never dyed it for the first time or ever. So I'm waiting until it's like no longer an option if I want to like have like hair color and not be like mostly gray, you know? Yeah. Like, I'm okay with like gray hairs like here and there, but like
I've got
if I start with real gray, you know?
Can y'all see? I got one right in there. I've got one up here. Yep, they're gray, all right. And when I first started getting gray hair at the age of 22, I'm now 26. People were like, "What? No, you don't have any gray hairs. Like, you're crazy." And I'm like, I literally have them, and it's fine. I don't care. But like, don't say that I don't have them, because I do. They were just like, "You're so young, you can't get gray hair." And I'm like, you can, because genetics are a thing. So yes. I look like a famous person. I look like I'm famous. Do I look like a person? Oh my gosh. Oh, I know I sound like I'm just like, oh, I've got so many things to say, but related to the I look like a famous person thing. At ballet, you have to check in beforehand and they ask your name. And I say, oh, Sienna Mooney. And actually like twice from two different people, they've been like, that's a really good stage name. And so I'm like,
it is. I was about to say that actually.
and it got me thinking, like, why am I not famous? Like, come on. I love acting, singing, and dancing, although choreography is really difficult. And I don't think I'll ever be famous in that capacity, but I've got the stage name for it. My parents sure did think ahead.
Yeah. I'll wait for that day. It's gonna happen.
When I'm famous. And you'll be like, I know her. What would I be famous for? Like, realistically, what would I be famous for? And in the chat, tell me, what do you think I'd be famous for? Like, you're on the street and you're like, oh, I know her from, or, oh, yeah.
I think you could be a stand-up comedian.
Oh my God. No, I'm way too, like, bashful to be.
That's part of your act, though. You're like...
Yeah, and they'll be like, she's so annoying. She always pretends like she like doesn't get the joke and it's like so embarrassed, but it's like, it's true. So we
try to nap now?
What? Try to nap?
Pam said killing your cousin.
Infamous, I think, is what a comedian. That's a good one. Yeah. I feel like if I were to be a stand-up comedian, I don't think I'd be famous, but maybe a sit-down one.
Yeah. I mean, realistically, I'd probably be famous as a politician.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, the most likely to happen is probably that.
Yeah, but I think then you'd have to like own a blow dryer and use it. Because all politicians do that.
I am not. That'll be my, like, I stand against hair dryers.
Oh my God.
I will present a bill to abolish all hot tools.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, I mean, actually, you gave me your straightener and your curling iron when you left.
Oh yeah, I did.
So,
but I mean, I would get them, but only because I didn't, they weren't for the outlets.
Yeah.
Here. And I still haven't, like, I still don't own a straightener. Like, I just never bought a new one. I bought a new curling iron because that's mostly what I do.
Yeah.
Is curl my hair, but
I haven't seen you with like flat ironed hair in ages.
Yeah, I think the last time I did it was when I was in England. Or I might have at one of the Playlist Lives where I like borrowed someone's. Oh yeah, last year at Playlist Live, I did like a half like a top bun, and then the rest was straight. That was probably the last time I did that. It just takes a long time.
You have a lot of hair, so
yeah. And when I curl my hair, I can skip chunks of it because they're like wavy enough that they kind of hide in the other wave. Yeah. So it doesn't take long. But when I straighten it, I am not like one of my biggest pet peeves is seeing people who have just straightened the top of their hair and then they have this like curl that peeks out from behind and I'm like, honey, no.
Yeah, it gives me flashbacks to high school. You know, like how there would always be these girls that like straighten their hair and you'd be sitting behind them, but then there's that like one patch of like,
yes, it is so unbecoming.
Yeah, and I've always had the fear that I'm going to be that person. So I literally have to like section my hair and like run a comb through all of it to make sure.
I have people check it and then I will purposely like, straighten everything. It looks as straight as it could possibly be, but I still like go obsessively and I check and I go.
Yeah. You know what I hate about straightening hair? It's like, when you get close to the root, but it's like you get that dent from the straightener.
Yeah.
I hate that shit. Like, and especially because my hair is obviously curly, like, then people know, like, the jig is up. Homegirl does not have naturally straight hair. So, okay, wrap it up.
Yeah, we should probably wrap up soon. So, do we want to, like, wrap up by saying not exactly, but what our plans are for season 2?
Yeah.
Since we're going to get back to make new friends, since that's what this is, but it's also just like a catch up, you know, like we could do a live stream every week because we're just hilarious people and people love us, you know?
Yeah. And maybe that's how I'll start my sit down comedian
Yep.
gig. I almost said jig. Anyway, so for season 2, we have not started recording yet. No. But we're gonna be start recording. Yeah, we're gonna start recording next week. I am interested in seeing like how this season is perceived as opposed to like the first season, because I felt like we really covered an arc. You know, we started out with like going through school, and then once you're out of school and friendship breakup, and how do you deal with that, and then coming full circle and being like, you need to be a friend to yourself. But I feel like season 2 is much more, it's a lot more broad, and really no topic is off limits. Do you agree?
Agreed. And we're going to get more into the nitty gritty of like how to do things, and be a little bit more focused about how we're talking about different situations or ways to make friends or to balance friendships or anything, you know, around that, where like Sienna said, it's a little, the first season was a little bit more of like a story arc, and now we're like getting into like the major plot points.
Yeah. And something that we have talked about doing in season 2 is looking at TV friendships and seeing like a problem, for instance, on like Friends. You know, you've got, there's this thing with Ross and Rachel. How do they get over it? And we're going to dissect those instances and figure out like they should have done this, or like what are some ways that they could have overcome this in a safer capacity without hurting everyone's feelings and stop being friends. So
yeah,
I'm excited.
Another thing what's the word? Our strategy for every episode is going to be a little bit different. Like I'm blanking on the word.
The structure.
Structure, yes. The structure is going to be slightly different. Not like completely, but we're adding a little bit more elements to it to make it a little bit more engaging and more active. Like you have a call to action for each episode, rather than it just being like a listening experience. We'll try to get ourselves and other people to go out and do things that we talk about. So
yeah,
we'll see how it goes. But
yeah. I hope that people participate, because like we're going to be doing this stuff ourselves.
Yes.
And you know, like I'm nervous, but if we're all in it together, you know, Wildcats. That's right. That's it. That's all I have to say. Wildcats.
Yep. So look out for the first episode in around June-ish.
Yeah.
But make sure you're following our Twitter, which is make new friends, and of course our personal Twitter is
our Twitter. Sorry, it's been so long since we've done an outro. Our Twitter is New Friends Pod.
Oh, New Friends Pod.
Yeah.
Don't
you
listen
guys
to me.
knew that already. I just put it in the chat for those of you who are interested. Yes.
And mine is at Mary Ethan.
We're on Twitter and Facebook at New Friends Pod. Taha asks, what podcasting app do y'all use? And I just use the Podcasts app.
Same, the iTunes one. I don't have any issues with like the design of the platform, and I've kind of fallen out of listening to podcasts recently, just because I'm reading a little bit more on the tube or on the Metro rather than
bless you.
So I'm using it less, but I have no issues with it. I know some people have issues with it, but that's what I use.
Yeah, I'm lazy, so that's why I use it. It's just there.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You don't have to learn a new platform, essentially. Is the only reason I have to.
Whew, just had a little burp. Sorry, unprofesh. So yeah, if you want to hear from me, you can follow me on Twitter at Sienna Mooney. It sounds exactly like my stage name, right? Probably. There you go. That's my Twitter handle in the chat. And
Yeah.
I tweet there.
If you are listening to this and you are aware of how we used to or structure the podcast, is we also have a blog that comes out every week with our podcast. Sometimes it relates to the topic of that week, sometimes it doesn't. But if you're listening and you want to become more involved in what we're doing, we are always looking for blog writers. So if you are interested to write a blog, you can contact us on all those Twitter accounts, but you can also email us. And I believe the email is makenewfriendspodcast@gmail.com. Is that correct? Yes.
Yes. Yeah. I just popped it in. So you can peep that. Drop us a line. And if you are interested in writing a blog post, but you don't have any ideas, you can browse through the blog, maybe get some inspiration, or chat with us and we can help you out. That's what we're here for. We're your friends. We're going to help you make new friends. Right? Asterisk, friendship not guaranteed, right? That's how it goes.
Yeah, friendship with us or with any other person not guaranteed.
Yeah, there you go.
No, actually the whole point of this whole podcast is so people want to be friends with us.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need any other friends. You just need us.
Yeah, we're your new friends. Actually, this is starting to sound like a toxic friendship, like Stockholm syndrome. Wow.
All right, so we'll probably head out. I'm gonna wake up one of the cats so that you can see them up close and in person because I'm a terrible cat mom. But that's what's happening. Oh, we just made a little sound. This is Toru. Hi. Oh, you are not happy. You want to go. Just be loved. Be loved.
Oh, you're little pretty.
All right, back to your sleeping place. Sorry.
And
look at how fluffy his tail is.
Oh my gosh, he is like, I didn't realize how fluffy he was.
Yeah, he's a fluffer. I could like dust with this.
Speaking of cats, this is Ichabod.
Oh.
He's a soft boy. And this is Dolo, right here. She's a soft little girl, and that's producer Pappy.
I can't. Oh, it's because my thing is off to the side. I see it. That looks really uncomfortable, Pappy.
Yeah, I don't know what his deal is. So there you go. The illusion is broken. It's not a soundstage. It is a bedroom with cats.
You know, you got to tell your friends about us if you want us to get to the soundstage level.
Yeah, guys, to unlock that soundstage level, you got to smash that like button and make sure to tell all your friends about this cool podcast with two girls and cats. Right?
That could be our, like, you know, our next podcast venture. You know, one where we act like we have a following based on our personalities and all we do is talk about our lives.
Oh my gosh. That's a great idea. We'll Lonely Girl 15 them.
Yeah. 2 girls and some cats. 2 girls and some pussies.
Oh, wow. Okay, on that note, let's end this stream. This has been some great quality content. Thank you for tuning in, and please follow me on Twitter. I need that clout.
Sounds good. Same. Bye, everybody.
Bye.